Title is either corporate development or emerging technology or emerging growth. Something which is kind of broad and startup related.
Sorry, are you passing over there? Okay.
Hi, my name is Afshin Zand, and I'm from a small venture called IoT Freeway. A couple of problems exist with BLE, and one of them you mentioned, the pairing problem. And the other problem is that all these wearable devices that are going to get integrated into clothes or be ingestibles, these cannot be recharged overnight like the cell phone. And BLE, even though it's low power compared to regular Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, it still consumes a lot of power. So it's a 20-year-old technology, and so I'm directing this question mostly to Broadcom, which controls the end-to-end. Infinite time to go to a better technology that solves both of those problems, such as my own.
Sure. You should be sitting up here, maybe. It's a real challenge. It's a challenge for all of us. It's a challenge for a company like Broadcom because it's two sides of the same coin. And you point out, yeah, it's a 20-year-old technology. It's built on creaky legacy that was designed in a previous century for a completely different usage model, and here it is in 2015, we're still using it. So on the one hand, you could probably easily come up with 50 things that you would change or improve to make Bluetooth 2 or whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, the reason that we're using it and stuck with it, however you want to put it, is because it is pervasive. It's out there, it's well understood, it's robust, it's mature, and it's not the best technology maybe, but it's the best that's available today that's widely deployed and in every smartphone that's sold, 1.2 billion per year. So, coming up with academic great new ideas for how you would solve the problem from a blue sky point of view, that's something that we can do. We sit around with beers and do it. Actually moving from a legacy technology with a strong installed base to something new. It can't be 20% better, it can't be 50% better. It has to be a minimum of 200% better in some fundamental way to justify my investment and your investment, everybody's investment in making that move. And Bluetooth ain't great. I'm a Wi-Fi guy, so I can say lots of bad things, obviously. But it's good enough, and sometimes good enough is good enough. And I feel your pain. I know the challenges you face, and there are things we're doing through improving the technology and process strengths and to make it better. But it's going to be evolutionary, not revolutionary.
No, I'm talking about revolutionary, actually. I agree with you. Your point, if it was evolutionary, it wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about things that are hundreds of times improvement.
Yeah, that stuff is out there. UWB was going to fix the world, and it's gone. It's hard. It's hard to do that. Revolutionary is hard. And, we love it because I'll tell you what, there's nothing better for us than you throw away everything and you buy all new ones. Because then we sell a lot of chips, and we talk about revenue streams. The only way I make money is selling chips. So my world is a lot harder than theirs even, but it's tough. I mean, everybody recognizes that it's a very tough issue.
Hi, my name is Tani Kitani. I'm an intellectual property attorney. I have a question mostly for Sanjay. As the sensors are becoming smaller, what kind of power are we looking at? Columbia University recently disclosed that a self-powered camera that took perpetual images based on a very low power profile. How close are we to sensors that really won't have a power impact on the overall system design?
That's a good question. As we work on wearable applications, for example, mCube has products that has power consumptions in hundreds of nanoamps. So this is compared to BLE, for example, which co-locates on similar systems. This is 1,000 times lower power. Now, coupling that together with some level of energy harvesting, it's possible that they would also be self-sustainable.
Yeah, we'll take a couple more questions.
Hi. Doing a hardware startup, part selection is always a pretty important and complex part. And companies come and go. 10 years ago when I started hardware, there was TI, there was Marvel, out there. So, how did you guys tackle that when you build products? Because time to market is important and you would keep evaluating solutions. Everybody's got some USPs, so just a question on that.
I can answer what we did because we were small, and while we had plenty of hardware experience, as you said, those are some decisions that you're going to live with for a time, and they're pretty crucial decisions. We were fortunate enough to partner with Aero Electronics, who became not just our parts supplier, but in essence a kitting company for us, and that's got ups and that's got downs. The ups is Aero has a fairly good line card with a fair number of products. All of our parts are not on Aero's line card. They're not, and that's okay. But we were franchised enough through them to be able to use this sort of kitting integrated services. So that helped us get a little punch from a bigger company in dealing with the parts vendors. The downside is you're always getting pushed to use an Aero part, so you still have to do the due diligence and compare, A to B to C to see this is the one I really want. They're obviously going to mark it up, so you have to deal with that. But nevertheless, if you understand that going in, they can be a good cooperative force for you as a small company. That's what we did.
One of the other key decision making that we did is availability of software. A lot of times you build hardware, but it takes you 5 times longer for one part to write software for versus the other. And so a crucial part of that is not just availability of parts, but how easy is it to create the firmware or software to interface with a particular chip.
One last final question? Okay. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Hi, my name is Sam. It seems like everybody is using Bluetooth Lite or Bluetooth for M things. I'm wondering for the users, what would entice you to move into Wi-Fi Lite? And it's a question on the other side for Jeff. Currently, I'm sure you see more platform on the Bluetooth Lite. What do you think, or when do you think that crossover to Wi-Fi Lite will happen, given the requirements that the current users might have into maybe longer distance, more data, hopefully with the same amount of power?
For Jeff, you said?
So Jack, I think he's using right now a Bluetooth Lite in 200 meters.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so the reason why we originally wanted to use Wi-Fi, but then we looked into the numbers and it just didn't really add up. Wi-Fi is an order of magnitude more power hungry than Bluetooth. It costs 10 times more than Bluetooth does. And so, I don't even know why, but it does. And then there's just like the firmware for it, like super difficult too.
There's a customer for you. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Has the answer for that.
Yeah. So that's why we pulled away from it. And then with just the announcement of Bluetooth 4.2, now where Bluetooth devices are able to connect directly to the internet over IPv6, it's like awesome. So Wi-Fi's dead. We don't need Wi-Fi anymore. We can just connect directly to for Internet of Things applications, things that are battery operated. So for us, I think Bluetooth is the future.
There's one more point of view. I mean, we also have another application for vibration monitoring in our ecosystem of things. And so there's a strong need for high data bandwidth burst transmission.
So we developed a Wi-Fi module to put on a device to augment the Bluetooth so that you can connect and do a high-speed burst transmission of data. And so that's one reason why we're considering using Wi-Fi Lite. There's one key drawback. If you're using an end thing and using a smartphone as your hub, then you don't necessarily, you might lose your 3G or 4G connection because now you're going to have to jump over to Wi-Fi, which is not necessarily connected. And so there's some funky ways where Wi-Fi works that doesn't quite work very well. But for specific applications, that can work.
Yeah, I could definitely feel your pain there. We do not use BLE, we use Bluetooth Classic because we chose to stream our data for the swing so that it was instantaneous rather than batch it and then send it. And our swing data has enough fidelity that we really couldn't put it in a small packet. And the issues with waffling between Wi-Fi and 3G or 4G or LTE in that zone as you move across it is an absolute disaster. So I can completely relate to that situation. So this is where you've adopted a hybrid system, which I think is fantastic. Again, people will innovate to find what they need with what exists out there.
And from our point of view, I mean, we don't view them in any way to be competing technologies. We see Bluetooth and Wi-Fi as completely complementary technologies. And a lot of the applications, like talking to the sensors, a lot of the basic applications where you're moving data, not a lot of data, but you're moving it over short distances. Bluetooth is an ideal technology. But if you want to be on an IP network and connect to the cloud, that's where Wi-Fi brings some advantages. And over time, Wi-Fi is we're addressing some of those issues. The power profile is going down. So you get a lot of the same advantages in ways that are more friendly to some of the applications. And at the same time, with Bluetooth 4.2, now you have IPv6 connectivity. So they do start to meet in the middle. But ultimately, if you have a screw, you use a screwdriver. If you have a nail, you use a hammer. There are different tools for different problems. And we do very well as a company making combo chips that include both technologies. And both technologies are there for a reason. And that reason, I think, is going to continue to exist and grow.
Great. With that, I think we are out of time. Now, we'll want to give the panelists one last, literally, since given the interest of time, less than a minute. Each of you, please give your last plug about what you're specifically looking for, perhaps any talent or partners, customers. Last, a plug that you would like to make, or you could, if you don't have a plug, final tip or suggestion for the entrepreneurs in the
I would say there's a lot of people trying to develop end things that are, I would say, useless things necessarily. So not all things are necessarily useful. And the way I look at it is, if the data is not valuable, why connect it? I mean, there are people doing things like alcohol breathalyzers. That data is not valuable. I mean, what's the point of keeping track of how much you drink, unless you want to play some sort of drinking game? That data is not valuable. So having a device for you. Although that device is useful as a standalone, but having it connected is not useful.
Yeah, I guess for us, shameful plug, we're raising another round of financing. So if you're interested in connected devices and on-demand services, you can talk to me after this. I don't know if that's publicly soliciting, probably not.
Go to swingsmart.com, let me know, I'll give you $50 off coupon. No, really, I guess the only thing I'd add is that, as we didn't touch as much on the, I guess the I part of the IoT, but the data pool that's being collected, and the other two areas that I felt were, at risk here, I mentioned the connection. Another one is security for adoption, and that's something that I think, in a consumer level, again, it's perception. It may not even be reality. So we're all going to have to really look hard at our devices and our products to to make sure that we give people the feeling of security, because now information and data is being shared willy-nilly, such as it is in medical files. This will be a hurdle that we will have to get past in not just this country, I believe, but other countries as well.
So just as somebody coming from startup, I would say look for the market that we want to be in and study that market well. We went into accelerometers. At that time, smartphones were starting to adopt accelerometers in a major way. Today, there is a 100% attach rate for accelerometers into smartphones. Now we are into this IoT node, wearables node, where the attach rate is going to again be very large, because a lot of things are moving things, they can use sensors. So you just have to sort of estimate and predict this market and see that when you have a product, the market is there to accept that.
Yeah, one deep thought and then one plug. I mean, the deep thought is I think, yeah, security and privacy are probably the biggest issues that concern people on a steady basis. And which is interesting because people in many cases think about the wrong problem. I mean, every connectivity chip that we make has AES level security embedded in it. There are multiple levels of security. The issue is not a secure link from the golf club to the smartphone. I'm pretty confident we can do that. It's once this data goes up into the cloud, who in the heck has that data and what are they going to do with it? That's really what the problems are going to be. I mean, there are a lot of nefarious people that are going to find, semi-seedy and completely seedy ways to monetize that data. And, while people are solving the small picture problem, that's really kind of a big picture problem. And eventually it's going to come and become a big issue, and we're all going to have to deal with it. So, we do what we can to put security at the lower level, but there are other issues that are going to have to be solved collectively. The plug is www.broadcom.com/wicked, WICED. It's a community. Go up there. Everything is downloadable. It's all fully documented. The Broadcom people will love you. We'll return your calls.
Okay, great. Very good, solid panel. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Another round of applause. And we will wrap this up. I'll hand over to David to wrap things up. But we've got a quick last segment.
Can I have the WCA team members to the front, board, secretary, volunteers, if you would line up on my stage right over here. So I want to thank our panelists and our moderator again. Thank you very much for being here. It's absolutely great. Really appreciated it. The WCA doesn't exist without three things. It doesn't exist without people like you who are willing to come and spend time with us. Thank you for being here. It doesn't exist without our sponsors, and it doesn't exist without the people on my team. As I mentioned earlier, everybody on my team is a volunteer. They put in untold amounts of time to make these events happen for you. So please give the WCA team a round of applause. We've got giveaways here. I'm going to go ahead and ask folks to pull a ticket out of the hat, if you would, please.
So for the first one, let's go with George's Node Chroma device.
1952578.
578. 578. There you go. Do you want to hand it up?
Yeah, let's why don't we go with the,
line it up? Okay.
yeah, Jeff's Wicked Tags.
1952613.
613.
Going once, going twice.
587.
Ooh.
Yeah, wow.
And then another,
570.
this time, this is for Swing Smart.
582.
So this is for Wicked Tag. Yeah, let's do the Swing Smart and then the last Wicked Tag.
596.
So what's up with this zone here? We're sure it's not, nothing's rigged. The Swing Smart?
608. Okay.
Ooh.
Sorry, everybody. Good. Thank you very much.
We have one more, right?
Oh, is there one more? Okay. You still have a chance.
No, we have covered everyone. It was a surprise.
I'll let him. All right, so congratulations to everybody. So I want to let you folks know that we are doing an event in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from tonight, we're doing an event. I know it's a little short notice. We will be at Tati Communications in Sunnyvale. Go to WCA.org. It is an IoT event. We did an event a while ago called What Do We Mean by IoT? And so that was part one. We're now doing part two, What Do We Mean by IoT? So it's another in our series of looking at the industry and what IoT means. I figure given that everyone has, it's such a huge topic, we could probably do this quite a few times and still be saying something relevant. So I encourage you to go online and register. If you're not on our mailing list, please join. If you prefer to follow us on social media, we're on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So I look forward to seeing you all 2 weeks from tonight. Thank you very much.
So I think we'll wrap things up. Thanks for coming, everyone. We still have a few minutes. If you would like to hang out and speak to the speakers or myself, please come on forward.
This part's hard to say. So, like the days of signing the castle. Oh, yeah. Nobody gets